morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Get Rich 101. I am your host. I am your host and author of this book, Hack Your Pain Now. Hack Your Pain Now. This is a good book. You guys should go and get it, not just because I wrote it, but because it's a good book. It's a good book. Let me get my co-host in. I'm gonna give her a little drum roll, little drum roll, little drum roll. Let's see. Let's go. Hey, man. Hey, Reverend Mel.
Hey, good day, good day. I didn't plug my mic in.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. So while you're doing that, let me finish doing my task. So thank you to New Thought Media Network for allowing me to grow and grow and grow. And remember that what we are talking about are things that we have tried ourselves. The things we have tried ourselves, and you've got to put what we're saying with something that of your own memory, your own research, and that'll get you through it. That'll get you through it. All right, folks, you got your microphone all set up. You got your microphone.
We're ready.
You ready? Okay. Now
Yes.
I know that
Yep.
look. I know that look when you down there doing something. So were you doing something for the show? Were you looking up something?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yes, I was.
I knew it. I'm gonna let you go. Let you go and do what's going on.
Well, actually, this is something that Mama Sekou sent me, and she probably
Okay.
sent it to you as well.
Okay.
It's a
Probably.
it's a story from Business Insider,
Okay.
and the heading says they inherited billions from their parents. They don't want it.
What? They don't want it?
They don't want it. They don't want
What?
the money. So these are young people in their 20s, let's say the majority of them. And there's an organization that helps um, people who inherit money but don't want it and want to give it away.
Wow.
And so it's called there was a conference in Nashville
Oh wow.
called For These Children of Millionaires and Billionaires.
So sidebar, she pointed at me because my mom is from Nashville.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the conference was called Making Money, Make Change. And so let me see. They're mainly Gen Zers and millennials, and they have a great sense that wealth should serve the greater good. So, and the other thing, many of them, what I found really interesting, and thank you, Mama Sekou, for sending this to me.
Come on, come on.
What
Yeah.
I found so interesting was that most of them didn't know that they were wealthy growing up.
Mm.
And then they were shocked.
Pause for a second. They did not know that
They
they were
did not know that they were wealthy.
wow.
So they may have had the awareness that their parents were doing well, but the scope of it did not land on them. And it made me think about this. I could so relate to this from the other spectrum of it. So they didn't realize that they were wealthy, probably because everyone that was around them was living the same type of lifestyle.
Right.
Right? So what was their comparison?
Right.
They
Right.
had nothing to compare it with. And it reminded me of when I found out that we were poor.
Yeah, you said
Because because I grew up believing that I didn't think we were wealthy, but I thought we were good. For the most part, whatever I wanted, I got. All my needs were provided for.
right.
I was happy. Our family was very close. I was good
Yeah.
up until about 10 or 11 years old when my mother sent me the Fresh Air Fund.
Mm.
And this was a part of the Fresh Air Fund that had a program called the Friendly Visitors Program.
Mm.
And what that was is they would take inner city youth and have them stay with a family upstate normally It might be as far as Boston, so north.
Mm,
It might be Connecticut.
okay.
It might be upstate New York. So that was usually the area. It might be Pennsylvania, possibly. And I stayed with the family upstate, and I don't remember where we're at upstate in New York. And so children would go stay with people, other families, usually white families.
Mm.
And I was shocked. Like when I got older and I was talking to my mother about this, I was like, so you sent me away for 2 weeks with people you don't know.
Wow.
You couldn't get to me.
Right. Wow.
Like that was shocking. like
Yeah.
when I reflect back on it, I'm like, really? And
Yeah.
this was a big program. Fair Share Fund is a huge organization.
Right.
So I went to stay with this family for 2 weeks. I left my house thinking I was good. We got everything we need.
Right.
I went for 2 weeks and discovered that I was poor. Because now I had this comparison,
Right.
right?
Right.
And the comparison was each one of these children had their own room. At my house, at the time, me and my two brothers shared a room. And we're talking, this is when I was less than 5 years old.
Mm.
So by the time I'm 10 or so, we had moved and me and my sister were sharing a room, but still we were sharing.
Right.
And so when I got to their house, I thought that all the other rooms were like playrooms. It didn't register to me that each one of these rooms was a bedroom.
Right.
Like
Right.
everybody in the house had their own bedroom.
Right.
It just didn't register.
Right.
You know? All of them had their own bathrooms.
Right.
Right? None of this was registering. And it slowly started I knew something was amiss.
Yeah.
I knew something was like, wait a minute now. And then I think day 2, we went to a baseball game and the family owned a minor league baseball team.
What?
Yes.
What?
They had
That's
a
major.
boat.
That's amazing.
I mean, I was like, what is happening?
Right.
My mind was being blown. My whole concept of myself was being blown.
Right.
Right. And so I think about these young people in this article who inherit millions of dollars and they're like, I don't want it. And some of it comes from a place of many of them are like advocates for climate change and different social justice initiatives. And then when they find out that they got this money, they also realize that the money comes from things that they are advocating against. So some of their families made their wealth from industries that are causing harm on the planet.
Oh, wow.
And so they can't reconcile taking this money.
Wow.
So they want to give it away for good.
Ooh.
So it's a whole movement of this.
Amazing. Thanks, Mom.
And so one of the stories is, I think the person's like 21, and all of a sudden they inherited like maybe like $2.5 million.
Wow.
Like that.
Like that.
Like that.
Like that. Right.
Had no idea
right.
that they were coming into this kind of money.
Right.
And how do they give it away?
And he wants to give it away.
Yes, there's hundreds of them that are giving away their money, their inheritance.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a amazing article. So the organization is called Resource Generation. And so it's helping new generation of trust fund babies get rid of their wealth rather than accumulating more. And they also said the movement was fueled by the rise of Donald Trump, who was a wealthy young heir and embody everything that resource generation seeks to alter. The group now boasts 1,000 members, more than 300 of them whom joined after the 2016 election, seeking to divest themselves of 100 million this year alone.
Wow.
That's extraordinary. So,
You know what I'm wondering is let's use the 21-year-old. 21-year-old, you get $2.5 million inherited, but does he already have his own money?
some of them are already wealthy, yes,
Some of them, but not all.
in their own right.
But not all of them.
Not all of them, no.
What?
So many of them are already wealthy on their own, in their
That's
own
what
businesses, doing their own
right.
thing,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But some of them are not. Some of them are just, living life, got a regular job, doing their advocacy work, and then inherit millions from, let's say, a grandparent.
And they're gonna pass it on.
And they're going to give it away.
Woo! What?
They're going to give it away.
What?
Well,
Wow.
it's similar to, you think about Warren Buffett, who said he's going to give away most of his wealth.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
He's giving away most of his wealth?
Yeah, George Soros,
Okay.
who says he's giving away most of his wealth. There's many wealthy people, older folks, who are also saying that they're going to give away their wealth. But these are young people in their 20s. I think they said 21 to 35 or something like that.
Wow.
Who are giving it away now.
I mean, that is crazy.
They're not waiting until they die.
Yeah. All I can think about, the only way I can think about it is thinking that they're wealthy already. That's the only way I can think about it. Because I know you said there's some in there that aren't wealthy yet, but I just can't comprehend that.
Yeah. I think most of them are probably wealthy or definitely not struggling.
Yeah.
Just given their backgrounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But what struck me was that most of them didn't know that they were.
That's interesting too. That's interesting too. And your contention is that because they all live in the same life.
Yeah.
All live in the same life.
Like, I didn't know I was poor because everyone around me was living the same life that I was living. And we were all happy.
Right. Right.
So until I had something to compare it with, I did not know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking for this part. Go ahead.
I'll put this up. This is V King saying, "This sounds like a short story, a movie, or a series. This is the first time you've gone this deep with this story." So she's feeling the story.
My fresh air fun story.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Well, the sidebar of that story is the little boy, because I think it was two girls that were older than me and a boy that was maybe a year younger than me. And the two girls didn't really want to have anything to do with me. They were much older than I was. They were like, teenagers, and I was maybe 10 or 11. Right. So I spent most of my time with the little boy. And at some point, little boy kissed me.
What?
And yes, he did. And I hauled off and punched him in the face.
What? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, what happened?
And so he started crying and ran and told his parents that I hit him. And
not why you hit him.
Not why I hit him, but that I hit him. So it was this whole big thing, right? Yeah. So they called the Fresh Air Fun people, right? Because I assaulted their child.
Oh no.
And when they had like people branched out different places. So somebody was going to come and do like a report and all this other stuff. And I had said nothing.
Right.
And so when the person from the Fresh Air Fund family came and they wanted to know what happened, I told them he kissed me and I punched him in the face. That is what happened.
Oh,
So my
oh,
contention was he kissed me without asking.
right.
So I punched him in the face without asking him.
Right.
And y'all could take me home right now.
Wow.
So, unlike my siblings who had very positive experiences with their Fresh Air Fund families, that's what we used to call them, our Fresh Air Fund family. And they would go back every summer for years
What?
to the same family. I
What?
went that one time and I never
Wow.
went back.
That's interesting. That's
That
interesting.
was it.
That's interesting that you had a different way of thinking about it, because the people who kept going from your family kept going, they didn't have the same resonant feelings, did they? They talked.
No,
Yeah.
if they did, they never expressed it. I mean, we never even to this day, we never really had any conversation about going off to the Fresh Air Fund and
Right.
staying with some white folks that we don't even know.
They got to do it.
We never really talked about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, really.
You know, it was like our mother's sending us. It must be
Yeah.
okay because she wouldn't send us if she didn't think it was okay.
Yeah.
And she wanted us to have, you know, she wanted us to get out of the Bronx where we lived,
Right.
and she wanted us to have a different experience. And we did.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. And Reverend Mel came out of there with a boxing glove, like a boxing story. Uh, 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 wow, that's funny.
My impulse control wasn't that strong back then.
Yeah,
You know, that instinct to fight or
yeah,
flight. Mine was
yeah.
always to fight. Mine was always to fight.
You had to grow. You had to grow own.
Yes.
You had to get your own on.
Yes, yes.
Look, B is talking about she's trying to do her ab workout, and y'all got me distracted. She's backing up. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Oh, she asked who kissed you. One of the little boy kissed me. He
Yeah.
might have been 10, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, he
Yeah.
kissed me. And it was innocent, you know, but I was like 11. I'm like, you know what? No.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I punched him in the face.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's move on and keep Zen's energy like this.
Yes. That was a long time ago, y'all. That's a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Yeah.
But don't try me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so I was fascinated by this report that your mother shared. And I mean, I would really encourage you to look it up. It's on msn.com, but it's from an article by Business Insider called They Inherited Billions from Their Parents. They don't want it.
That's incredible to me.
They don't want it.
That's
They got over 1,000 members, Sekou.
That's incredible. And you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of these first generation wealthy Black folks and what they're doing with their young. Like how are they gonna make sure that their young are raised around people like them? You know what I'm saying? Like let's just pick one out the blue, like Jay-Z and Beyonce's child, right? How are you going to make sure that that child has a normal lifestyle?
Yeah, well, it makes me think about what Melody Hobson shared. We were talking about her last week, and she wrote a children's book about money. And she did
Yeah.
not dumb it down. She just made
What's the
sure
name of
she
that book again?
explained it.
What's the
Huh?
name of that book again?
Oh, I have to look it up.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
And her husband is George Lucas. So
Yeah.
she's wealthy in her own
I
right.
mean, wealthy
And
beyond.
George Lucas is, come on, like,
That's, that's a ridiculous amount of money.
so their child, Everest, which I
Yeah.
just love that name so much, their child, who I think is maybe 10 or something like that, they are raising her just that way. Like, she understands the value of money. They don't give her everything that she wants. She doesn't even ask. Her mother said, Melody said, she doesn't even ask for anything.
Really.
So they break it down. Melody's like on a mission for her to understand the value of money.
Mm,
So that's one example. Tyler Perry was talking about his son, another first generation of wealth.
mm.
Tyler Perry, I don't know if he's
Right.
a billionaire yet, but I would suspect if he's not, he's
I
close to
mean,
it.
he's got to be close. Yeah.
Right. And he says, he tells his son, I'm rich, you're not.
Yeah.
And he only buys him 2 gifts for Christmas, something with Legos, and I think a truck or something, train set or whatever. 2 things.
Hmm.
So it's the way that they're choosing to raise their children, not in a sense of entitlement,
Mm,
but in a sense of responsibility and understanding of the value
mm,
of the resources that we have,
mm, mm.
not just money, like the other resources as well. So I think that's the big difference. And Fee King is sharing that Master P seemed to be doing something different with how he raised his kids and raised them in the business. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that reminds me that Seinfeld is known for saying that about his kids. For telling his
Mhm.
kids, look, I got the money. Y'all ain't got no money. and that's his theme of talking to his kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and they have to follow that through with what they actually do.
Mm.
It can't be like a cute little hashtag, you know, like it has to follow through.
And this reminds me, all that said, it brings me back around to you talking about your kids and doing whatever you said that you were trying to get your kids to respond responsibly, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things I realized is I should have started way younger with
Mm-hmm.
them,
Mm-hmm.
way younger. Like they learned the ABCs, they needed to learn the fundamentals of the value of money. Now,
Wow.
gratefully, they went to a school. They went to an independent school in the Bronx that was very Afrocentric
Mm-hmm.
and very much about Black wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the 3rd grade, they have a financial curriculum for kids. And everyone in the 3rd grade opens up a bank account. They go to the bank. They have this whole presentation. Um, they learn how to fill out a deposit slip or withdrawal. Like they learn all of this in the 3rd grade. And every week they bring money to have it deposited into their account.
Mm-hmm.
So they were instilling in them in the 3rd grade. So how old are you in the 3rd grade? 8? I think like 8 years old. Um, the value of money,
Mm-hmm.
the value of money. And like they was like the administrators and the teachers were like, just give them $1. Like it's the amount doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to build up the habit of consistency with engaging because it was about having a relationship with money. That was the
Mm-hmm.
focus.
Okay.
And they did a beautiful job with that. But I I don't think Marco and I did a good job at reinforcing that at home. because my mindset was whatever they wanted, for the most part, I gave it to them.
That's right. That's right. That's
But
right.
for me, that was coming from an unhealed place,
Yeah, right.
right? That was coming from what I just shared, going to the Fresh Air Fund,
Yeah,
realizing that I'm poor,
right.
being with friends and not having any money. And it came from a place of scarcity, lack, um, fear, feeling
Mm,
less than.
mm,
It came from that place, which is not healthy,
right.
right? And so that realization just came to me last year. They're going to be 18 and next week,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
You gotta better start than most people. I just
So
want to remind you, you gotta better start than most people. But,
so I'm trying to reprogram them
yeah,
and be consistent with myself,
yeah.
you know? So yeah, so every experiment that I've done with them thus far has failed.
Oh no.
Has failed.
Oh
I
no.
told you. I told them out of their allowance, they set aside a certain amount of money. And whatever they have accumulated by the end of the year, I will double it.
Right. Great
They spent
achievement.
all the money.
It's been
They didn't save nothing.
oh
They
no.
would I would see them putting some aside and then they would spend it on something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So by the end of the month, they had less than $5.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Ashe.
But they are aware, at least they have the awareness. At
Yeah.
least they have the awareness
As they go off to school. As they
as
go off
they
to
go
college.
off to school.
You can do the hardcore with them doing their college education. You gotta go hardcore. So that by the time they finished college in 4 years, they'll have it. They'll have it. Right? Because I know I didn't leave it to me. I was like, I'm spending money everywhere.
Well, I hope that they no longer allow credit card companies to set up shop on college campuses anymore.
I hope.
I
I
hope
hope.
that's no longer a thing
I hope.
because that's a lot of temptation for a young
Oh yeah.
person.
Oh, for real, got me. I was walking from one class to another, and there was a table set up, and they were giving away free slices of pizza. I was like, pizza? What's up? They said, oh, you just gotta fill this out. I was like, oh, let me fill it out. Got my credit card. I was like, oh, I got all this money. I can do with it whatever I want. Let me buy this. Let me buy that. Let me buy this. You know?
Yep.
I hope they don't do that anymore either.
Yep. I don't know, but yeah.
Ashe.
Ashe, ashe.
All right, well, thanks, Mama. Mama say cool.
Yes, thank you, Mama Seiko.
For sending us this dope media thing. And I still can't get over it. I still can't get over it. I'm gonna have to go down deep into that rabbit hole.
I'll text this to you, the article.
Yeah, text it to me. Text it to me. Text it. All right, folks. Well,
All right.
done. We're done for today. You catch us again next week. Remember that now is better than perfect. Now
All right.
perfect. All right, folks. See you next time.